Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, all manner of creatures of all natures. Today we are on the moon, and we are going to be building a very simple furnace. A furnace to smelt us some alloys. Not the super alloys, you have to make those in the advanced furnace, and not the basic metals, because we make those in the arc furnace and we've got those already. But the slightly complex alloys. Steel, Invar, Constantine, Electrum and solder. Steel's fairly robust, we can melt that at pretty much any temperature and pressure. Constantine likes a fairly high pressure and temperature, Invar likes it slightly lower pressure, Electrum likes a lot lower pressure, and solder likes a lot lower temperature, likes it pretty much cold. So we're going to go in this order: steel, Constantine, Invar, Electrum and solder. I'm going to try and do them all in one big old smelt. So I've got the ingredients laid out. Useful to have. Get those off the moon with your mining drill. Gonna have to build a furnace to actually smelt it though. So your kit for a furnace comes out of the auto lathe. And to build it, you need some iron sheets. Just a few. We've got way more than we actually need there. Furnace, first thing you'll notice about it, it's a bloody irritating augmentation. You have to feed it at the top and get the stuff out at the bottom. Badges to that. If you press the home key 3 times, it rotates the furnace to a nice sensible orientation. Look at that. You feed it on the left, you get the stuff out on the right, the dial and the activate button are at the top, and the open handle is at the bottom. We'll have some of that. Right, first thing we need to build it with: a wrench, 2 iron sheets. We've got a wrench, we've got some iron sheets. Brilliant. Next, a welding torch and 2 iron sheets. Welding torch, remember to turn your welding torch on. Do your welding, turn your welding torch off. Do not put a lit welding torch in your pocket. The regret is real and lasting. So we've got a fully built furnace. That's got an inlet there where we feed it fuel ices, oxygen ices, and anything we actually want to smelt. Anything you put in here is going to burn and go away. Do not put your tools in the furnace, they will be gone. It's got an outlet where all the stuff comes out, and it's got pipes. An input pipe where you would feed it hot gases, cold gases, any gassy things you want to feed into the furnace. We're going simple, we're going to feed it with ices, so we're not even going to connect this bunny up. An output pipe where we want hot gases out of the furnace. Now we're going to use that one because we want to control the pressure a bit. And the easiest way to control the pressure is just to let some of it out. And a water pipe. If you've managed to get water in your furnace, this is the way you get it out. Try not to get water in your furnace. The way to do that is to put the wrong kind of ice in there. The ices you want are blue, solid oxygen, and pink, solid hydrocarbons. The white ice is ordinary everyday water ice that you might make snowballs out of. Do not feed to furnace. Furnace does not like to light a fire when it's all wet. Other things we've got here: pressure and temperature gauge, currently reading 0 because there's nothing in there. The looking into the window inside the furnace, contents, also nothing. The opening of the handle, when you want to actually get your metals out. Open it, remember to shut it again afterwards. And the sparker. The sparker adds a little bit of heat to the furnace, useful for melting your initial ices, and when you want to say, poof, actually light up, matey. Okay, so we've got the furnace itself built. We need a little extra stuff. We've got a volume pump, some pipes, and a passive vent. You could just use a valve and vent it by hand, but it's an awful lot easier to put a pump in there and pump it out slowly so you can watch what's going on. So we're going to put the volume pump somewhere where we can see what's going on. There's about right. How's that? Yep, switch it on, switch it off, go back to looking at the dials. We're going to hook it up to the output pipe. Make sure you're looking at the output pipe. It's the one that says output. Do not hook up to the input pipe because that would be bad. we go. We are trying to exhaust our furnace. Sorry, get myself in the right position. There. Pipe. Pipe. I always build my pipes from one end towards the middle. Not quite sure why, but that's just the way I roll. Okay, so we've got our pump, one end of it's hooked up. It's got to go somewhere. And we're going to stick this out into the world. We've got a passive vent. There, so there's a pipe. It's stuck inside the wall, so we can't quite see the other end of it right now, but there's a useful feature in the world here. We've got our passive vent. It shows up green. That's like useful, but when it turns yellow, that means it's hooked itself onto something. So our pipe radar has said that's the right place. So now we have all the physical building done. Pipes into a pump, out to the world. Pump's no damn good without any electric. So let's get our electric and our snips. Electric straight to a power supply. I've got this one off from where I should have put it, doesn't matter. Don't have a nice neat straight line anymore. Oh dear, look at that. There. Power I've got from the rest of the world. If you haven't got a reliable power supply, it's probably not time to be building a furnace just yet. Get your power supply sorted. Okay, so all of the building work is now done. Electrical and physical. We're going to do a smelt. Our first smelt is steel. Let's have a look at what we want. What's steel all about? Steel can be melted in the furnace. It wants 75% iron, 25% carbon. It likes 900 degrees Kelvin, 600 degrees C, or up to 100 kilo Kelvin, or 100,000 Kelvin. 99, yeah, not a heck load. That's way too hot. So basically, so long as we have it pretty toasty in there, we don't care about the upper end. So long as it's toasty, we're fine. Pressure, anywhere from 1 megapascal to 100 megapascals. Now, since the simple furnace craps out and explodes at 60 megapascals, so long as we haven't detonated our furnace, this is fine. Anything that's got some pressure in it will melt us some steel. The only thing we really need to care about is 75% iron, 25% carbon. 75%, 25%, one's 3 times the other. So that's 3 iron, 1 carbon. Sweet. All well and good, but you can't melt anything in a furnace which is at 0 degrees, so we've got to hot it up. Furnaces eat fuel. Fuel comes in the form of volatiles and oxygen. If you remember your chemistry, oxygen, and we're pretending this is hydrogen because it's close enough, burns at a ratio of H2 to 1O. So 2 pink ones to 1 blue one. We want a fair amount of this stuff. We're doing a big old smelt, so we're going to put in quite a bit of oxygen to start with to make sure we keep the temperature up for long enough. And we're going to do that. If you hold down the Alt key, click a stack, you get a little window at the bottom that says splitting. You can split off one or split off half of the stack. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. I can put a lot of ice in my hand. I'm going to go all the way up to 20. Now you can see I'm doing this at night, and I'm doing it under a sunshade, because outside the insulated confines of your mining belt, frozen ices will just boil away in the sunlight. So sunshade at night, one or the other will do, both even better. Make sure that you don't watch your 20 ice go to 19, 18, 17 and have an absolutely pants time trying to dose up your furnace. That goes in there. The hatch shuts. The furnace is gnawing on some solid matter. Doesn't like it. Likes melted stuff. So we've got to add a little bit of heat with our sparker. So we have to spark it once every blob of ice we put in there. And if you look at the pressure gauge here, every time we boop it, the pressure gauge goes up as one more piece of ice is turned into gas. And we've got to boop this 20 times until the hatch opens. So what have we got in the furnace? 500 kilopascals of minus 29 degrees C, 90% oxygen, 10% nitrogen. Brilliant. Pretty much exactly what's expected. So, if this was pure oxygen, our H2O, we put in 20, we'd want 40 of this stuff. But since it's 10% nitrogen, we're going to knock off 10%. 20 oxygen times 2 would be 40. 10% of 40 is 1/10, is 4. So we knock off 4, gives us 36. Hold down the Alt key, split half, gives us 25. We want to go to 36. Tick, 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 tick. In it goes. It's solid at the moment, but it'll spark up as soon as we light it. That's going to go to burny hotness. We're ready with our fuel, with our metals. So ready, 3, 2, 1, light it up. It sparks, it melts, it goes to burny fire. What do we got in there? 1600 degrees C at 21 megapascals. Brilliant. Right in the butter zone for our steel. Hydrocarbons go in. The pressure goes up because they push out a fair amount of gas. They boil away to various gases. Metals go in. The temperature goes down because you have to spend some energy turning your solid metal into liquid. Same again. And at the back end, we look at the contents. 150 grams of iron, 50 grams of hydrocarbon. The button turns green to say that we're going to do a successful smelt. We are going to make 200 grams of steel. Brilliant. Open the box, close the box so that we aren't sad later. 200 grams of steel. It's a good thing you can pick it up with space gloves because that's got to be smoking hot right now. So our next one, like we said, is going to be Constantine. Constantine wants anywhere between 20 megapascals and 100 megapascals, and anywhere between 1000 Kelvin and 10,000. Half copper, half nickel. 1 blob copper, 1 blob nickel. You don't have to do it in single blobs, you can do it in lots, but we are still in the butter zone for our Constantine. We've got to move quickly, don't want the furnace to cool too fast. It will cool as we go along because we're just letting it radiate. But there we go, it's gone green, the numbers are right, making Constantine. Close the door, grab the Constantine. Next one, moving swiftly along, Invar, half iron, half nickel. 1200 Kelvin to 1500, we're really about there already, so we've got to move. 18 megapascals to 20, so quite tight on both the pressure and the temperature. Somewhere between 18 and 20, somewhere between 1200 and 1500. Our pressure's way high, but our temperature is already in the right place. We've got to get rid of 9 megapascals of pressure. Goodness me, it's almost like we have a pump handy. Switch the pump on, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, bit more. 21, turn the pump down a little and watch it drop. As soon as that's below 20, it goes green, turn the pump off, it stays green, pull the handle. Right, now you noticed I turned the pump all the way down to 20 litres a minute. That was to slow the descent of the pressure so that we didn't overshoot. There we go, 18.7. We're just above 1.3 kilokelvin. Just right for making more Constantine if we wanted to throw some in there. Next one, Electrum. Electrum likes anywhere between 600 Kelvin, not that hot, to 100 kilokelvin. So anywhere in the temperature range, don't care. 800 kilopascals, quite a low pressure, to 2.4 megapascals, still quite a low pressure. Half gold, half silver. So our top end is 2.4 megapascals, and our bottom end is 800 kilopascals. Right. So we've got to let out a fair amount of pressure from our furnace, which is currently at 17, where we need 2.4. Gold goes in, melts. Silver goes in, button turns red because we are no longer just clean gold. And right, so way too much pressure, fair amount of, well, temperature's about right. Temperature will be fine. So we can get rid of a lot of pressure quite quickly by turning that up. So we're at 18, we want to go to 2.4. Switch the pump on. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4-ish, 5 and a bit. Alright. So we drop that down to half. Turn it on again. We're now dropping slower. 4.5, 4, 3, down to 2 and a bit. 2.5, we'll drop this all the way down to very slow indeed. Turn it on, and as soon as that hits 2.4 or below, button turns green. Turn off the pump. Stays green. 100 grams of Electrum. Pull the handle. Boop. Lovely. Down to our last one. So we're 4 for 4 so far. Solder. Checking our solder. What does that need? Solder, 350 Kelvin, 76 degrees C. That's not very warm. Up to 550 Kelvin, 200 degrees C, nearly 300. 1 megapascal to 100 megapascals, so pressure, don't care. Half iron, half lead. So cold. We've got to find a way to cool the furnace without getting it too cold, while still maintaining a little bit of pressure. Where did that lead end up? There we go. Come here, you. So, smelty, melty, melty. We melt the lead. We alloy in the iron. Buttons turned red because, yeah, this is not going to work just yet. We are sensible pressure, but way too hot. 700 Kelvin. And the top end we want is 550. So let's have a look at what's in the furnace right now. 2% oxygen, 6% hydrogen. So if we added a little more oxygen, it would burn and become hotter. But if we added a little more hydrogen, it's not going to make a heck of a lot of difference, because we have to have more than 5% of each to sustain a flame. So we're going to cool it by using hydrogen ice. See how that goes. This could get really fun. Let's start with a block of 10. Same as before, split 1, 10. We're at 670 degrees. What happens now? 630 degrees. So that's knocked us off 40 degrees. Another block of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 595 degrees. Alright, so we need to lose another 40 degrees. Guess what? We're going to have another block of 10. 550, oh, 650, 567 degrees. 4 megapascals. So we've got plenty of pressure. We could just wait for it to cool by 16 degrees. And it'll do that. You see there? Every few seconds it loses 1 more degree. God, that's tedious. So let's turn the pump on. Pump's currently still set to a fairly low output pressure. And it's going to drop all that hot gas out into the world. And as the hot gas leaves, so does the energy and therefore the temperature as well. So that's going to cool it a lot quicker. Now our limit is 1 megapascal, and we're currently at 3, so we've got a little while yet. 5:57. We've got 6 more degrees to go and cooling quite well. 54, 53. Of course, the more gas we let out, the faster it does cool. So I'm going to stop this fairly soon. There we go. Turn that off. Okay, a bit of rebound. 52. 51. Waiting for solder. Just slowly and gently. We could try and rush it, but there's the button. Turned green. Going to make 100 grams of solder. Pull the handle. Close the door after you. And there we go. We have made all of our alloys. Only 1 ingot of each. The only one we really have to worry about is Invar, because the temperature, you've got to move quite quickly to get it just right. The rest of them, relatively simple. You could have started with a little less gas, but the way we did it with the 40 and the 36 works just right. I think that's all we're going to play with today. Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed watching this. You can find me on Twitch, you can find me on YouTube. There will be a whole selection of how to do the thing in Stationeers. I will hope to see you on the channels one way or another. Have a lovely time. Bye bye. Hit the like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Mash the button with your face if you must. Have fun.